Hi folks, welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast. Today we're playing Karma by Gareth H. and for those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. Karma is a narrative story creation game about people surviving in difficult circumstances, where the goal is to tell and partake in amazing stories with your friends. It's part theatre, part storytelling and part role-playing game. Unlike traditional role-playing games, Karma focuses on collaborative storytelling rather than having one player function as the game master. In Karma, everyone will contribute equally to the telling of the story by acting out scenes and role-playing them with the other players. There is also no winner or loser in Karma. The prize is an amazing, dramatic story that you and your friends will remember for a long time to come. I'm Jade, and you can find me at JadeOxfordRose on Twitter, and my pronouns are they, them. Playing with me today we have...
My name is Mab. You can find me on Twitter at LittleLadyMab, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Dora. You can find me on Twitter at HarpyDora, and my pronouns are they, them.
Our lines, things we absolutely do not want to see, are homophobia and transphobia, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, attacks by dogs, and unwanted pregnancy. Our veils, things we're fine with addressing but will just fade to black on, steamy situations and graphic depictions and descriptions. Apparently, no, it's graphic descriptions of bodily harm.
Either
both
one of
accurate.
them.
Both
were.
No. Both kind of, yeah. Such similar words. But now we've got all that, let's get started. Decided to go for the haunting playset of that comes with the car. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios, but being the drama gremlins that we are like, let's go for the haunted house, because why wouldn't you? And within the haunting scenario, and there's a good little description actually that I will read. The mansion stood foreboding and ominous under the light of the full moon as the car approached. The rumours have been around for as long as anyone can remember, and now, on this dark night, the players are about to find out if the Hindley Mansion is haunted after all. I'm sure we'd insert some dramatic thunderclap Foley work here, but we don't have the budget. So that stuff costs money, y'all. But there were a couple of different character sets that you could pick from. There was a family there, get that good shining vibe going on. And for the really advanced players, you could have a couple of living people and a couple of ghosts. But we decided to go for the crew of a ghost TV show. Because yes.
Ghost facers!
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so we picked the TV crew. So now we've already picked our characters that they offered, so I figure if we just introduce who we are, and then we can talk about our relationships.
So I'll be playing Davey Jane. You might remember him as Space Hamlet from Fiasco. He is taking on the role of the host, pronouns he, him. Early 20s, decent build, if not a little more on the willowy side. He's got a strong jaw, a charming smile, and tan skin and close-cut hair. I've decided on Reese King for a nice face claim for him. Always very well dressed, and it's not all terribly clear if he's all there up in the head, but he does his best. He does his best.
He really does.
really
He's
does.
a good boy. He's a good boy.
His virtue is that he is generous, and his vice is that he's boastful.
I'm playing Marius Favors, and they're taking on the role of the historian, and their pronouns are they, them. Their description is long hair, always in a braid, short, willowy, early 30s, long sleeves and turtlenecks in neutral colors no matter what the weather. They worked very hard for their history/folklore degree. Also, they're very into the occult, but from the perspective of an academic. Their virtue is that they're measured, and their vice is that they're selfish.
And I am bringing back the apparently much beloved Kari Valon, who you remember from Fiasco also, who is the camera person and sound recorder. It's a very small operation they have here, so I decided to combine the both together, he, they pronouns. He's also sort of in his early 30s, 5'6", someone who lifts and enjoys a burger, brown skin, long eyelashes, an easy smile, wears his hair in tight fade on the sides with curls on the top, but quite tight, but sort of getting on the longer side, so they sort of hang forward. Dressed in very practical cargo pants with an equally practical sleeveless turtleneck crop top and bomber jacket, and statement earrings. And the earrings I'm imagining are the ones that Tessa Thompson has in Sorry to Bother You, so murder, 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 kill, 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 because I am in awe of those earrings. His virtue is kind and his vice is stubborn. And as well as the roles, there was a list of characteristics you could give your relationships with the other characters. If we want to rattle through what everyone decided for those.
So Davey's relationship with Kari is respectful. They've got a bit of a history, but, you know, Davey does look up to him. And with Marius, he's friendly with Marius. Is Marius friendly back with him? Yeah!
Sure.
Oh, it's good.
They're not mean, which is the important thing.
Yeah, sure.
Don't be mean to Davey. One, he pays your salary. Two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is no two.
So, speaking of Marius's relationship with Davey is reluctantly cordial. Marius does not tolerate most people very well, but they understand that, you know, Davey pays the paycheck, and also Davey's the face of the show. So it's not friendly, but it's not, well, I'm not saying it's not mean because Marius is Marius, but, you know, they try to minimize the damage, and their relationship with Kari is lustful. Marius has probably had a crush on Kari for a while, but is super quiet about it because that's not related to their work, and so obviously they've got to stay professional, right? Right.
Of course.
Who doesn't have a crush on Kari?
I know, right?
And speaking of Kari, their relationships. With Davey, it's friendly, I think. Because obviously it's not quite the same kind of relationship that Davey and Kari had in Fiasco. But there's still that sort of familiarity there. I've defined it as friendly. I think Kari's known Davey for years, and when Dave was like, I want to do a show like BuzzFeed Unsolved, but, you know, more me. You know how to operate a camera, right, Kari? And Kari's like, yeah, sure. Because the thought of the thought of Davey breaking into haunted places by himself is a terrifying notion.
Please, I do not break in. The doors are open.
Oh, okay. My mistake. And
someone else does the breaking and entering.
That's also what Kari is here for. And the relationship I picked for Marius is also lustful because mutual pining is... Look, we have the unofficial show motto of always be on your bullshit. So...
Unofficial?
Well, I don't know. Is it on our merchandise?
On our it's on our Tumblr.
It would be on the Twitter, but there's a character limit to the profile description.
Okay. The official motto, my apologies, of always be on our bullshit. And I think Kari respects the professional setting. Also, Marius is this sort of quiet person, so he doesn't want to push boundaries. He has assumed that the feelings would be unrequited anyway, so I was quite happy just sort of appreciating the slightly fussy, very smart historian expert they have. So, and looks from afar and goes, oh, they're pretty, to himself quite a lot. So,
cameras on the ghost, please, Kari.
yeah.
Not on the moody man, moody person in the corner.
So with that done, what's really cool about Karma is that every playset comes with a set of world-building questions that you sort of answer around the table, so you get to flavour the world how you want. So, and there's a set of 8 questions. So if we start with Mab, if you want to answer the first one.
Oh, I didn't prepare for this.
Well, that's okay. We did say we'd wait till we were, quote, at the table.
Yeah.
So,
let's see. Some rumors that our group has heard about Hindley Mansion. I am fond of the idea of, like, I guess, I don't know what we're calling it in this sort of setting or this sort of world, but like in Lockwood & Co., they use ectoplasmic activity is like the term for like what the ghosts use. So I kind of like the idea of there being like ghostly fires breaking out in the kitchen and, you know, not necessarily like things moving around in a poltergeist sort of style, but like I watched so many, like, you know, I've watched, what is it? Oh, it's I forgot the name of the anime, but I've watched it so many times, and there's always, like, you turn off the lights, and then you come back in 5 minutes, and suddenly all the furniture is upside down, and oh no!
Ah!
But it's just like, yes, exactly. So, like, it's, like, really weird things, and it won't happen while you're there watching it, but it, like, you turn around, you turn back, and suddenly it's different.
I love it.
Cool. I was going to say, are there any specific kind of stories, do we think? Like, to expand on the question, like, somebody was murdered here, or the whole family were found dead in their beds, or, like, the staff came up to the house and found that the beds had been slept with, but the whole family had disappeared. Like the Mary Celeste, but, you know, in a house.
Yeah, I kind of also like the idea, I don't know how up to date any of you are on Welcome to Night Vale, but there was the story of like that old house, and then there's like a family that was in there, and there was like a hole in the wall of the nursery, and then like the wife just disappeared one day, and then the children disappeared one day, and the husband's just there looking at this hole in the wall. So I kind of like the idea of just like one by one the family started disappearing, but it was also a really weird, strange house that no one wanted to go investigate. And like after each of the family members started disappearing, some new phenomena started picking up, and so they're like, oh well, when the wife disappeared, then the fires in the kitchen started, but she didn't die of a fire in the kitchen, so no one really knows. And when the two, like the older brother and the younger sister disappeared, like then the furniture in the playroom and in the living room started doing all these weird things, so on and so forth.
I dig that a lot. So this was the Hindleys, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, next question, Dora?
Yeah, the next question is, what is haunting the Hindley Mansion? Is it one thing or many? And I think, based on the stories, it seems like there's probably just one sort of force that's haunting, but since it's consumed the family, it seems like maybe they're like the sub-hauntings.
Ooh, I like that.
I like the word consumed.
Yeah. Also, like, the force, how it manifests, is affected by the people that have been consumed by it.
Yeah, and I think that since I'm looking at it from Marius's perspective, I think that maybe they've looked at it and tried to find out if there's some sort of local folklore that might account for this, like if there's some sort of local cryptid or beastie that might be associated with this, and I think that that's something that would be fun to, as we play, figure out if that's the case.
Riffing on that, the next question is, how did it get here? And, like, riffing on that, I like the notion that maybe Mr. Hindley was deep into maybe cryptids and, like, was obsessed with things like that, and maybe found a book on summoning or stuff like that.
Summon Cthulhu.
Maybe, but I think it was invited. Because, yeah,
I love that.
I gotta say, writing Hindley is very weird, because there was a really horrible serial killer in the UK called Myra Hindley, like X number of years ago, which possibly the writer of Karma did not know. So,
well,
you know,
the writer of Karma, I think, is in the UK, so it's...
Oh, then it was probably intentional then.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah, if you look at some of the spellings and you watch the videos, I think he's in England. So.
Oh well, I read the book and just go, oh, this is spelt normally. It didn't occur to me that it was because it was by an English person. So.
Oh, good, someone with proper spelling for once.
Oh, look, there's U's where there should be U's. Excellent. Okay, so what does this force want, Mab?
I think coming at it then from, like, Davey's perspective is that it doesn't want to go and wreak massive havoc. I think it likes having a house. You know, as many people our age would just like to have a house. Just get out of my house and leave me alone. Just wants a cozy fireplace once in a while. Maybe have its friends over.
Does it seek company? Is that why it consumed people?
Yeah, I definitely think it seeks company. And it's not doing things to scare people out. It does things to keep people in.
I hate it. It's great. That's great. I hate it. I'm just right there. It doesn't want people to leave. It wants them to stay.
It just wants friends.
Okay. So, Dora, to that end, is it dangerous or violent?
I think that, yes, it is, because if you're in there, you run the risk of being consumed yourself, and also some of the things that it doesn't have a complete understanding of humans, and so it does things that it thinks are good or appealing that turn out to be dangerous or harmful to the humans that it's doing it to.
Oh god, it's like some kind of animal or baby animal. Oh god, it hurts so good. It wants a place to live and it wants people to play with. This is getting sadder already, and we haven't got out of world building. We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay, how does it communicate? How much how good do we want to go? I genuinely like
Bullshit.
whispers.
Be on your bullshit. Yeah.
Whispers. Different people hear different voices.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so good.
It uses the voice that it thinks will appeal most to the person it's talking to.
Oh no, you've just set Davey up for failure.
Oh, no.
Do we want to have bullshit words appearing on walls and in mirrors and on glass?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm here for that.
Okay, words appearing on any and all surfaces. In the dust. In the dust. Scratched in. Anything goes. You know, whatever's most upsetting at the moment, you know.
Yes.
Okay. Mab, is there a way to get rid of it?
I think, one of... I don't necessarily know if there's a lingering portal somewhere that it came through, because that seems a little cliche than it does, like, being on bullshit. So, like, I don't...
I mean, we can say there is no way to get rid of it, you know.
Yeah, like, I don't necessarily know, unless it's, like, you know, asking it to leave type of thing is probably what the first option would be, but I don't think it would until it's satisfied or until it finds something better.
I mean, we the characters don't need to know that this is the fun. We are gods of the world at this point before the world proceeds to screw us over. Mm-hmm. So, because it doesn't want to leave, it wants people to stay. So, which is the fun part. Do we have a definitive answer, or should we go with?
Oh yeah, I think the only way is to, like, give it a better option somewhere else.
Oh, I like that. Give it a better option. To that end, Dora, will it ever stop?
No, I think that it's here to stay on our plane of existence, and so, giving it a better option is just passing the buck to somewhere else.
Cool. Great and good.
Hey, our job isn't to get rid of this. Our job is to film a good TV show / YouTube show.
We aren't exorcists. Like, that's not our remit.
God, no, we didn't sign up for that version of the story.
Nope. So, there's also character questions that we figure we'll rattle through just to inform. I know we can all see them, but for the sake of our listening audience, not quite part of world building, but character building. So if we want to rattle through those, I figure, like, each of us go through all of the questions rather than, or do we want to do the question and then all of us answer it and then go to the next question?
I think doing the question and then all of us answer it and then going to the next question will probably be the easiest way.
Cool. So the first question then is, what are you afraid of?
For Davey, that perhaps none of this is real, that I have been left alone, and which upon that revelation the others will leave as well.
Oh, baby! Oh, no. Marius?
I'm afraid of being stripped of my academic accomplishments, of being forgotten, and of spiders.
Mm-hmm. Kari is afraid of people getting hurt while he's in charge / on his watch. He is scared of enclosed spaces and of being alone. Next question is, do any of the others know about your fears? I'm paraphrasing slightly as we're rattling through these as a group and chatting them through.
Kari might suspect, but I don't think anyone else has a clue. I mean, anyone else now is just one person.
No, Marius is too self-absorbed to notice.
I think Kari would know. Or have an idea, like you say, have an idea. Marius?
After an unfortunate incident filming in a different location, even the viewers know of my aversion to spiders.
That's such a good answer. Oh my god. And for Kari, the others know that he's protective and sort of worries about them, but they don't know about the rest. The next question is, do you believe the rumours about the Hindley Mansion?
Well, I've made a habit of believing the unbelievable, so yes, I think there's some truth behind them.
I fervently hope they're true.
Not really, but it makes for a good story. Next question, why are you here?
Well, someone has to be the one to look and to listen, and I guess fund the entire thing.
I'm here to further my research.
And Kari is here because it's his job. Also, there is no way in hell that Davey is being left unsupervised. So,
poor child.
He's just a sweet, sweet, dramatic baby.
I love him.
He's a good. The next question. Are you happy to be here?
I don't like the circumstances that drove me to this, but I quite enjoy the team we have and the sense of adventure each night brings. I like it. I don't know if happy is the right word for it, but I like it.
I'm happy in as much as anyone can be happy to be working with the individuals I work with.
Wow.
I'm a goddamn delight, excuse you.
Thanks. Wow, cheers. Appreciate that. And for Kari, it's actually the first time in a while he's liked his job. And yeah, there might be better ways to spend the night. Not complaining. Have you had any supernatural experiences before?
A few times, which is why I'm inclined to pursue this. Contrary to what others say, it's not idle curiosity, and it's not me just being a dumb child.
Oh,
Baby.
We are all so inordinately fond of Davey.
Yes. No, it's ordinately fond. It's the appropriate amount.
Okay.
Yes, I've had supernatural experiences before as part of my involvement with the show.
And for Kari, 99% that they saw a ghost once. Someone they knew watching them. And there are days that he's convinced there's a presence with him, but he doesn't talk about it. Ooh, do you believe in life after death? You know, nice easy softball question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to, because if not, then what else is there?
Yes. Otherwise there would be no point in researching ghosts and the supernatural.
It's complicated. Heaven and hell? No. Souls? Yes. And they have to go somewhere. Energy doesn't disappear. That's science.
Science.
Are you superstitious? And why? Or why? We got the answer.
Do I believe in old wives' tales? Not terribly. Do I believe in ghosts and haunts? Certainly. I don't throw salt over my shoulder to catch the devil in the eye or leave out a bowl of milk for Faye, but again, I believe in the unbelievable. At least ones that I have been given reason to believe in.
No, I believe that the supernatural can be quantified and explained with enough study.
I grew up in a religious family with a very superstitious grandmother, and the whole thing is just kind of, really, it's sort of like, you need to do that. Okay, yeah, Gran, got it, thanks. That said, yes, throw salt over the shoulder. Yes, knock on wood. But it's habit more than any kind of ingrained belief. It's just the thing that you do. And the last question, have you recently experienced a tragedy?
Not too recently, no. It was several years ago now.
Other than terrible experiences during filming, no.
Excuse you.
Not recently. A couple of years ago, when in the military, there was an incident that resulted in the death of a couple of squad mates, and is why Kari is no longer in the military. So, yeah. That is all of the questions. So, I guess we dive right in. The first thing we have to do is... everyone's got an opportunity to frame and direct an opening scene. Do we want to go over the rules of play before we dive straight in? Talk a little bit about a couple of the game mechanics.
Yes.
Okay. There's an opening scene that we all get to direct, and that's the only time where there is no complication and no complication roll. They come into scenes later. Basically, every scene has to have a complication. One of the people not involved in the scene. That'll be interesting if we decide to do a scene with all three of us. I guess it'll just be whoever's not leading the scene. It just has to be one of those people suggest a complication. And the person whose scene it is will then make a complication roll. And the active player, when given a complication, makes a complication roll to determine if the outcome is positive or negative for their character. all complications need two potential outcomes. So I think the person suggesting the complication says, okay, if it goes your way, this happens. If it doesn't, this happens. To achieve the positive outcome, you have to roll a result of 7+ on your complication roll. A result of 6 or less means things go badly for your character. Before you roll, I think you roll 2d6 just for the complication roll. And then you can, my apologies, all complication rolls start with 2 positive, and then the active player can add a single positive or negative pool by moving the token on their karma pool track. We've all got that. You start with 3 positive and 2 negative, or vice versa. Where's the doc? 3 positive, 2 negative. Yeah. What I really like, and like obviously if you want the scene to go well, you can add a positive, and then you move your slider along so you have less positive dice. Or if you quite like the idea of leaning into drama, I'm sure none of us will ever do that.
Oh no.
Then you slide to the left in the karma pool. I think this is a really cool mechanic because it's like you can set yourself up for shit to go badly in the present and it pays off for you later. Like, the notion of choice is now, like, obviously karma having an impact on the final result is really fun. So, yeah, you make your complication roll, and that's how it goes. And then after everyone's done everyone has 5 scenes, and they say like scenes should be between 2 and 5 minutes. We'll see how that goes. We got a while to play today. We'll be fine. There's only 3 of us.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, but once you've done all 5 scenes, then you do a final karma roll, and that will determine how your finale goes. So I will find that when it comes to doing the final roll, and we'll describe if overall it's a good ending or a bad ending for your character. That's basically it for the mechanics. So should we start doing some scenes?
We should definitely start doing some scenes.
Let's do it!
Do it! You're gonna do it! It starts with you, Mab.
Oh, shit.
It's good. It's very good.
About that minor detail that I was in the front. So we're doing opening scenes, right? We're setting up, going to the house, I take it?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I mean, it could be like even before we get to the house. I just assume that once we start doing scenes, we're in the mansion. So, like, we can take the opening scenes, I suppose, could be quite broad if you wanted to, or they could be super specific. Like, it's just there's no complication roll, so it can be like it could be a solo scene, it could be a conversation, it could be like pure narration, like however you like.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be vaguely, mostly pure narration. Just a world of pure narration. I'm sorry. So I think it is, I don't know necessarily that they have a full-on office so much as it is maybe some kind of like attached unit to like Davey's place or something like that, just because, makes it easier. It's all right there in one tight little package. But anyway, so, they're hanging out in the quote-unquote office of sorts. And it's just, at least the image of, Davey's receiving the information, for this new case, and sending out kind of like a little information packet to both Kari and Marius, going, wow, let's check this out. This sounds like a totally cool new scoop. It's gonna be, it's a little ways away, so, making sure you're arranging for flight plans, and we'll get a rental car, and just kind of making all these, like, travel arrangements, but, basically setting up the job to start with, and I don't think anyone sends it to him unless it's like one of those comments on their YouTube videos going, hey, you guys should check out this place next. Why don't you check out this and this? So that when it comes down to the hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this new episode. A lot of you made the comment, and it's just all those screenshots of all the YouTube comments popping up going, go visit Hindley Mansion. You guys should check out Hindley Mansion.
Yeah. Yep. As all the comments come up on the screen.
Exactly like that. And so we decided that we're going to go check it out. So, you know, it's like that sort of thing. And, you know, by and large, I don't think this is anything more than Davey's got a lot of money, so he gets to fund his weird hobby, quote unquote. I mean, he could have worse weird hobbies, let's be real. Ghost hunting is mild compared to a lot of other things that this boy could do. And so, you know, they get, you know, he doesn't have anything that he has to rearrange, but it's just like, all right, Kari, Marius, make sure you guys are free on these days. Here's your flight arrangements. So we'll see you guys at the airport. And he's filming like a little outro or like a little intro for the segment going, all right, well, we're going to go take off and we'll keep you guys updated. All of our followers, thanks. We'll see you guys soon from the mansion. All right.
Hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. Oh no, he's turning into Gig.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Oh no.
I'm sorry. Oh no.
We respect the IP of others.
Yeah, he doesn't say hit that subscribe. No, he does. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. So yeah, that's what's shaken. I think it's just kind of like that sort of like opening sequence of getting into the world and into the setting that we're in.
Rad.
I think for Marius, it's a similar scene of sort of like a flurry of going through research and being kind of flustered about it. You know, why couldn't we have gotten a little more warning? I'm gonna have to, you know, be pulling an all-nighter to put together the historical aspect. There's, you know, so there's a bunch of like going to the library, looking through what's it called? Is it microfiche? You know, looking through the newspapers, you know, in the back of the library, looking for incidents about the Hindley Mansion, and just, you know, being generally, I don't want to say frustrated, because Marius does genuinely enjoy like doing the research, but being at least putting on airs of being frustrated because of the tight time frame, and then, you know, having to fly, you know, maybe flying doesn't really agree with them that much, but they do the work, and by the time that the car's pulling up to the Hindley Mansion, they've got everything prepared that they need prepared to do like their portion of the intro, which is the, you know, the brief summary of what we know up to this point.
I think Kari's, after all that, is much more relaxed than the scenes we see with Davey and Marius. And it's just sort of like a montage of him or not even putting a bag together, like there's a grab bag. Like, he's used to Davey pulling this move. It's just like, we need to go tomorrow. Right, cool. Packing up, getting on the plane, all that. I think what you do see is him going to like the groundskeeper's house on the edge of the property, or visiting like a lawyer's office, whoever owns the property now. You see him going to talk to them to get the keys, like doing, you know, the part that makes sure that they don't get arrested for going onto property they shouldn't be on. And you see Kari having the conversation with this guy, this uptight lawyer type, and being given the keys and asking if it's possible to get somebody to come with them, like just to show them around, just like, and the lawyer just like, no fucking way, I'm not paid enough to go up there. And Kari's like, well, you actually believe in this? And he's just like, and just gives him the keys. And Kari like says thank you, heads out, and you just see the lawyer saying, be careful up there. And Kari's like, does like the little 2-finger salute and walks out, and the camera cuts straight away to like, it's one of those fun smash cuts, which is the office door shutting and then the car door opening, and him getting out, getting the big bag with the camera and the sound equipment, and like getting the cell phone out to check, and of course there is no signal. I wanted to establish from the get-go no cell
naturally.
service. So, and just like giving the nod to everybody else, it's like, okay. Oh yeah, no, you see it, like getting the camera set up to film Marius's bit, and then just sort of like shrugging the camera down. You see the abs. Well, no, the stomach. There's a soft stomach there, but there's definitely some flexing because this camera is heavy. But you know, he's a professional with his murder, 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 kill, kill, kill earrings, and his very functional combat trousers and combat crop top.
Combat crop top.
Combat crop top.
Say that 10 times fast.
And yeah, the three of them heading inside. I think he's also got instructions on how to turn on the fuse box for the place, where it has been like retrofitted with electrics. How well said electrics are gonna work. But I think maybe the first scene is like the electrics getting flipped on and like lights flickering on in like one of those big like in Casper, because I love that movie.
Yes.
And it's like the big open like entry hall, and like Kari disappears to go put the like hit the fuses, and then like lights sort of like poof, 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 in this opening, in this big
good sound.
open hall.
Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, the hall, the greeting hall of Hindley Manor is now flooded with some kind of like yellowy light, and that's sort of where we kick off.
All right. So I guess a very nice, I guess, next scene to move right into is setting up a home base and going around. I've literally like read too much Lockwood and watched too much Ghost Hunt, where it's like, all right, they're gonna set up their base and then they're gonna go around, take readings during the day, and I think like Davey has his own like little personal camera. Like he doesn't use his cell phone, but he's got a very nice little like camera that he can use to do like front-facing shots for himself, and as he goes around and just kind of like sets up everything. But I think a very nice like little first scene would be with Davey and Marius, where Davey's just like, all right, well, why don't you tell us what sort of research you found on the place? I know I didn't give you very much time, but I know your skills, and I know you've got a packet just waiting for us. So, all right, bring it on. They're like set up in the kitchen or something like that, where there's a nice big table and nice lighting from the outside, as well as like the electric lights set up. And you know, Kari will probably be off somewhere else setting up cameras here and there, but
I've set up the camera in here for you two, and
thanks.
just like
perfect. And Marius kind of like puts their hand together and takes a deep breath and starts rattling off, for the listener's sake, I'm not going to go into everything, but just starts rattling off a lot of the stuff from the questions that we already answered at the top, you know, about how the family disappeared one by one, and about Mr. Hindley's particular interest in the occult, and how some of the local folks believe that this is what's caused the haunting, and this is what we're here to discover the truth of.
Okay, so so they brought up I was about to say Mr. Marius. I'm sorry, Marius. You're not the one haunting the house.
Are they Dr. Favors?
Oh
Professor
my
Favors?
gosh. I think maybe Dr. Favors.
Doctor.
That's
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh.
Dr. Favors.
All right, so Dr. Favors, tell us a little bit more about this history of Mr. Hindley. You know, was there anything that you were able to find on why he started these occult dealings in the first place? And you guys can't see the motions that I'm doing, thank goodness, but it's a very weird, like, woogly woogly woo sort of motion.
I can picture it quite vividly.
Yes. And
Baby
that's-
arms.
The arms are going, yes.
That's okay. I've got my hands clasped together the way that Marius would have their hands clasped together. And, no, unfortunately, that is not a matter of public record, although I did find some very interesting bills of sale, for some of the books that, Mr. Hindley was interested in, and one of them did look a little odd. It was, it's a book that I've seen in my research before. It was not considered to be particularly favorable. It involved some live sacrifices. The few copies that remain in circulation are very difficult to get a hold of, and unfortunately I was not able to be one of the lucky few to lay hands on it, but I have heard some of the research around the book and how some of the research has gone poorly.
I'd like to introduce the complication.
Okay.
The big... You said you were in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. The big stove against one wall starts a clicking sound.
I was supposed to say, oh no, I forgot that the kitchen is also haunted.
Oh my goodness.
This clicking sound starts to happen. If you roll positively, you get your camera out in time, or you're able to take the camera and point it towards the stove, as some of these sort of spectral flames sort of leap up from it and start licking against the wall, and you have the evidence. If it goes negatively, you go over to check what it is, and you are going to get burned. Not severely. Maybe we're talking like camping stove, kind of like maybe lose part of one eyebrow kind of thing.
Not my
minor
eyebrow.
burn on one hand. Not your beautiful brows, yes. Your beautiful brows.
No! They're so perfect. I got them done right before this.
Kari has a makeup kit, it'll be fine.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, you'll get like a minor burn, and you won't have any footage of it.
Oh, okay. So I just roll
2d6, unless you want to add a positive or add a negative.
Wait, do I start on +2, -3, or +3,
No,
-2?
you roll 2 positive dice. You can choose to add a negative and then deduct that from what you get, or a third positive.
Okay.
So
No, it's fine.
So are you adding another dice, or are you just rolling 2?
I'm just gonna roll 2 and see what happens. Might as well.
Roll them
Start
bones.
easy. No, I don't want to roll my bones.
Roll them bones.
Oh, I rolled bones.
So you get the negative consequence.
Oh,
so you
no.
You have narrative control. I just said what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You get to describe how it happens.
Fixing my hair. So Davey's sitting across the table from Marius and sort of getting them to try and talk a little bit more about the book, you know, asking, I was going to say probing questions, but we never know. And just, you know, sort of getting a feel, getting good content for that intro episode. And then the clicking starts going off, and he stops immediately and just sort of like turns and looks at the stove, and a little bit curious, and goes, well, I guess some of the things aren't all set up nice and smooth the way they were used to be, huh? So Davey gets up to go and investigate, starts fiddling with one of the knobs, and, you know, very bad idea. Don't do that if your stove starts clicking. And, yeah, like, some of the ectoplasmic fire just kind of, like, just jump. That was lovely, and it happened right as I did the hand motion, too. As if you knew.
I did know.
Oh god. The haunting of my apartment. So
Crying.
And Davey just like yelps and stumbles backwards and like hits the chair from the backside of the table and like stumbles over it, and like he's like holding his hand and it's just ow, ow. Fuck, what was that? Did you see that, Marius? Did you see that? Oh, this really hurts.
Oh, I definitely saw that, and Marius sort of sidles toward the refrigerator to see if there's any sort of ice pack or ice or anything in there. Unfortunately, there's not, because, you know, the mansion's been abandoned for a while, but at least the tap works, so, you know,
Yes.
Davey can stick his hand under the cold tap.
I'm just gonna stay here for a little bit. This is fine. Did we get any of that? Oh god, the camera's facing in the wrong direction. Cool. I got injured for nothing. This is fine. This is fine. I don't...
Is that scene?
I think Marius has one final parting shot.
Oh, yeah.
Marius just, like, is kind of leaning away and then awkwardly patting Davey's shoulder.
Bless.
So kind. Thank you. Yeah. That's it.
Poor Davey.
Poor Davey.
So it's my scene next. I think maybe Marius has gone off on their own to investigate, like, the library specifically, because, yeah, they've got the bill of sale, but that's different entirely from actually looking at the library and seeing the books for themselves, and, you know, seeing the things that maybe got traded for and bartered for. And so the shot is Marius just sort of, you know, looking up at the shelves in kind of a quiet awe as they run their hands over the spines of some of the books. And, you know, they come to a couple of very odd books that are bound, you know, I don't want to be too cliche and be like, they're bound in human skin, but, you know, maybe they're bound in things that are, you know, kind of odd, like snake skin, or, you know, other animals like that have, like, distinctive feels to their hides. And so they start, like, pulling some of those books off the shelves and maybe thumbing through them a little bit as they're jotting stuff down with, like, a little tiny notepad that they have in, you know, one pocket. And this is stuff that, you know, it's not on camera, it's stuff that, you know, they're gonna bring to, you know, when you do that, you know, office-style cutaway where it's an individual talking to the camera, to the audience directly. And so I think that's where Marius is at the moment, if anybody wants to introduce a complication.
To that order, because I forgot to say when we were rattling through the rules, if you introduce the complication in one scene, you can't be the person to introduce it in the next, which I think is a way it's not just one person consistently trolling the other players, which, you know, is fun.
It's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Mab, you could just come up with it now.
Yeah, so I was going to say, you find, like, you're just kind of looking at the spines of them right now, and if you pull them down, if it goes well for you, books are in fairly nice, pristine condition, and you can read them. They're, like, in a language you know, as opposed to being some archaic, strange form of what undead language nobody knows except for really strange occultists. You're a strange occultist, not a really strange one. And
an important but subtle distinction.
Yes. I mean, you're not running around wearing robes and sacrificing humans and making books in human flesh, so you're fine. You're fine.
Yet.
Oh god, no.
Let's see how let's see how this goes. You know?
Yeah.
If it goes poorly, you decide to go kill some. No, I'm just kidding. So if it goes poorly, like, the books are in, like, super poor condition, and they're, like, the pages are crumbling as you turn them, and they are in a strange esoteric language that you might have to take a few days to parse out, or, you know, way too long to make any use of them. But by and large, like, the books start falling apart in your hands. Is it because they're old and dusty, or is it because you're not worthy?
Ooh. I dig it. I dig it.
All right.
Roll them bones. Are you going to take a positive or a negative die?
I think I'm going to take a negative die because I have something in mind if this goes poorly. So I'm going to roll 2d6 minus 1d6.
I'm just, while you do that, I'm making a note on everyone's karma pool in our G-Doc to see where they are on their slider. So once you, like, take a die, make sure to slide it over.
Will do.
So you took a negative die, so you've gone up to there.
Yep. Alright. Oh, and it did go poorly. I rolled a 3 and a 4 minus a 2 for a total of 5. So I think what happens then is Marius pulls down some of the books, and one of them, kind of like crumbles in their hand. Even though it seemed solid at first, it just like dissolves into dust. And then they pull down another one and notice that it's in some sort of esoteric language. And there's the part of them that understands that this is going to take a long time to decipher, longer than would necessarily be possible for the show. But there's just this sort of draw to the book, and they're just like, they can't tear their eyes away. And I think it's several hours before they return to the base, the base camp, and they look really tired, like more tired than a trip to the library for a couple of hours should have been. So I think, and that's unless Davey or Kari have a reaction, I think that's seen.
I think Kari looks concerned and starts making them a coffee or tea. Are they a tea drinker?
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay, like their little base camp has got like a little like camping stove.
Oh, yeah.
Because by this point, Kari has heard about what happened in the kitchen. And
Davey says, "Don't use that stove; it's haunted."
But yeah, sort of starts making them a cup of tea.
Aw, thank you. And yeah, I think that's seen.
Okay. What do I want to do? I think this is sort of happening concurrently with the scene of Marius by themselves in the library, and it's Kari treating the burn on Davey's hand and fixing his eyebrows. Like makeup and first aid.
The eyebrows first.
Davey, can I please treat the burn on your hand
As
before
long
your
as I
eyebrow?
keep it stuck in this bowl of water, I'll be fine. It's this moment I take it out of the bowl of water that it starts hurting. So, let's leave it in here as long as possible, right? That's how this works, right?
Sure. Makeup bag, rustle, starts, like, filling in the missing half of an eyebrow.
Oh.
Honestly, it was quite impressive if it didn't hurt so much.
Well, that's the thing about fire. It's quite cool as a phenomena, but you don't want... Why did you even go over to the stove?
It wasn't real fire. It's ghost fire. I can't help but... What?
And the burn on your hand is incredibly real, so...
Yes, and so was my missing eyebrow.
Which I am fixing for you.
I would like to introduce a complication, and I think what happens now is Davey, poor Davey, starts to hear some whispers. And I think that if you roll positively, you kind of ignore the whispers because your hand is already hurting. But if you roll negatively, then you start to hear somebody from your past who was involved in the tragedy that you mentioned in your character questions calling your name.
Is this
Dig it.
Kari rolling or me rolling?
I was going to say,
Oh,
I think...
shoot! No, it's so...
But I like the...
Kari,
No,
please roll for me. Yes.
I like the I think as long as we end up with the same amount of complication rolls happening to everybody, I think it's all right.
Yeah,
Because, otherwise it's always going to be me introducing the complication for Mab otherwise. So I think as long as, across the 5 rounds, everybody's done 5 complication rolls, then the amount of...
Let me revise that, because Kari also mentioned the tragedy. So we can replace Davey's name with Kari's and have it be a similar outcome. So
Can you go over the outcomes again, Dora? The positive and the negative.
So if you roll positively, you kind of ignore the whispers, maybe write it off as just something, in the walls or, some noise in the house. And if you roll negatively, you start hearing somebody from your past calling your name.
Ooh. I might just do I use the term straight roll loosely here. I'll just...
Oh no!
that went bad. That was a 3 and a 1. So yeah, Kari, I think.
So I think, I was gonna say, I think like Davey's just there like prattling on about something, and he's waving one hand dramatically, and the other one's in the bowl of water. And it could be that Kari just like stops what he's doing, and Davey's just like, "Hey, Kari."
No, I know what it is. I know that's good. That happens, and I think Kari's hand is kind of like he's pulled his hand back from where he's been filling in your eyebrow, and you see him go tense, and the eyebrow pencil snaps.
Kari.
That scene.
Not the eyebrow pencil, no.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Mab.
Yes, me. It's me. So I think by this point, hands all bandaged, eyebrows look immaculate once again. It took a little bit of offhand penciling after a moment, because it's just like, all right, Kari, go make yourself some tea also. And so Davey's of the mind that now he wants to go explore the house, and leaves the camera behind in this case because he just wants to get kind of a feel of the layout. Also, especially, did I take it Kari didn't say anything about what happened or what they heard or anything like that?
I think he just goes very quiet, which is not like him, and just like was sort of like and just like finished up what he was doing with you.
Yeah, so Davey is very much like on camera. He is the, puts on that smile, is very cheerful and all that jazz. And then off camera, it is very much like, especially when he's not around the others, it's very quiet, and his listening, he listens a lot to what's happening, and he just kind of watches the house. So he peeks into the library, doesn't see anything that's worth noting, but he does acknowledge the fact that Marius was in here for quite some time. And so he just kind of wanders around a little bit more. There's probably an upstairs and then a fairly decently sized attic in addition to a basement. It's a nice big house. There's a lot of space. So he starts wandering upstairs and he's kind of looking around, and just picks an upstairs study or a guest room and just kind of sits in there for a little bit and just is kind of I think it's one of the children's rooms, and is just looking at some of the dusty old toys that are there, and just kind of not necessarily oh, speak to me, spirits from beyond, because that's not his deal, but he is definitely listening, paying attention.
I've got the complication.
Okay.
Which way to put this, considering what he wants? No, I appreciate it, guys. If it's a negative result, you are going to get a response. If it's a positive response, you don't hear anything, and you just sort of feel maybe sad, but content. I'll say maybe content's the wrong word. You just sort of okay, I guess I'll try another room. Okay. But if you roll negative, something's going to happen.
All right. So I think I'm definitely gonna give myself a negative die for that one. That's how my boy is. We're all getting 7s and then just narrowly missing with our negative die.
Hey now, I got a 4. I earned my shitty result.
Well, I meant when we're actually adding dice to it. Sure. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
You start to feel cold. and because why not fucking cliche this up? A rocking chair in the corner, not a rocking chair, a rocking horse, paint peeling off it, threadbare mane, starts rocking back and forth, and you hear a tiny whispering voice of a small child from right behind you. Play with me.
What game do you want to play?
What games do you know?
I know enough. Card games? Board games?
Boring.
Dolls? What's your name?
You just hear a giggle.
We're gonna be here for a while. You don't mind, do you?
No. And then the cold is gone, and the horse rocks a couple more times, and then you're on your own.
Davey sits there for a little bit longer, like holding, I've been picturing him holding like a stuffed bunny that's like, wearing down. And he just sort of looks at it for a little bit longer, and then puts it back on the bed, stands up, and closes the door behind him when he leaves. See.
Okay, I think... Shoot, what kind of scene do I want now? This still has been kind of during the daytime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to skip forward and cut down to nighttime?
Hell yes. Hell
right.
yes.
Always.
All right. So I think this is probably a scene that happens with, let's do Marius and Kari. And this is one of the things where it's like Marius is walking through the house with maybe an EMF reader and a flashlight, talking about some of the historical context, not the stuff in the packet, but like talking a little bit about maybe some of the historical architecture and like the design of the house and stuff like that. Trying to be educational and flexing their doctorate.
And,
meanwhile, Kari's flexing his actual muscles, and it's great.
And it's, Marius is trying not to be distracted by that, kind of like keeping eyes firmly ahead, rather than looking back.
The bomber jacket is tied around the waist at this point, so it's like bare arms holding the camera up on one shoulder. Lots of thumbs up, like you're doing great.
Oh no! Oh boy. And I think maybe the EMF reader starts picking up something, and Marius goes quiet and is like, "We have a presence." And let's see, at this point we probably still have the lights on, maybe, because there's probably a lot of detritus or detritus. I don't know how that word is pronounced.
Yeah.
A lot of junk
Stuff
on the floor. So
Keyboard smash.
dangerous. Yeah. So dangerous stuff. So we need the lights on to make sure we don't trip and fall on our asses or faces. Our faces are all too pretty to be tripped on.
This is why Davey hired all of you, is because you're all beautiful.
We're all beautiful, and we all have faces that aren't his that could get potentially mangled.
Hey!
I mean, I don't think Kari's ever on camera unless, like, Davey has filmed him.
Davey's
Like,
probably filmed him a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe that's the thing that gets commented on in the YouTube comments. It's just like, yes, Kari's in this one.
Yes, good.
Yes, definitely. So anyway, let's throw a little complication in there. We've been kind of leaning into the if it goes positively, nothing happens, and if it goes negatively, something happens. But I think at this point, we're ghost hunting now, folks. So if it goes positively, you're gonna get some of those sightings and presence on camera. And, you're going to hear things, the lights are going to start flickering, because this is the high drama that everyone wants to watch. But if it goes negatively, you hear some noises upstairs, and then it might be Davey tripping over something, who knows? And they go, oh, it's okay. So yeah, positively, it's like that great ghost experience. Negatively, it's just not faulty wiring, a clumsy host. Who knows?
Okay. I'm gonna roll just 2d6 for this. So, let's see what happens.
Wow.
Woo!
Dang, that's super positive result.
Get some of those
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yeah, so that was an 11. So, I think what that means is, as soon as Marius says, we have a presence, the lights flicker and then go out one by one, heading toward, like, starting down the hall that starts, blinking out, and then one by one the darkness just comes toward Marius and Kari, and as soon as that happens, like, there's just, like, this rush of sound, and then it just descends into complete silence, and the EMF reader is just going absolutely crazy, and,
Super haunted.
I kind of want to say that scene, because that's, like, a really great place to just do a smash cut to, the next scene.
Cool. I think the next scene is everybody,
Okay.
and I think maybe Davey felt drawn after, like, the weird interaction in possibly the nursery, and Kari and Marius sort of following the lights that went out, and the reading. I think they all find themselves at the same place, and it is they find themselves at a locked door.
Ooh, maybe the door isn't on the floor plan that Marius dug up.
Yeah. That's good shit.
They digged it
And
up.
okay, here it is. And after getting, okay, you'll tell me if this seems wildly out of character, Matt. But I think the scene starts with Kari taking the camera off the shoulder and looking at Davey, just like, you seriously want me to shoulder down the door?
Yes, obviously. You're the most qualified for this.
Do you want to film it? I suppose you want to film it, don't you?
I would love to. Pass it over.
Can you use your camera?
Okay, fine. I can handle
Set-
that camera, but alright, I know how sensitive you are about it.
Sets down the big camera on the floor, hands the sound recording device to Marius, and cracks the knuckles, cracks the neck, takes
Don't
off
literally
the earrings.
crack your neck when you hit the door.
Yep, takes out the earrings because
Yep.
he likes those. Puts them in a pocket. Okay, and I think it takes a couple of tries, unless this is going to be the complication, and gets through the door, unless somebody wants the complication to be the door.
That's no fun.
No,
yeah, that's no fun.
Okay.
I think it's more interesting to have the door open and the complication be what's on the other side.
Sweet.
So I
Okay.
think if it's positive, I think that the door, like, flies open. Not the kind of flying open where it's like Kari gets dumped forward. It's, Kari's done this plenty of times, so, he knows how to not fall flat. But it opens up into a wide, like, it's the kind of thing that you normally associate with a haunted attic, where it's just like rafters and beams and it's unfinished and there's spider webs everywhere. And if it's negative, then the door kind of, like, crunches forward, but it's just a door that leads into the interior wall for some reason.
Cool. Can I add a little spice to that? And like, Kari gets not hurt, but definitely takes, like, a knock from it. Like, because if the door opens and then slams into an interior wall,
Yeah.
like, that's gonna suck.
Like 1d4 damage.
I would say 1d4 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah.
Okay, I want that good vibe in there. So I'm gonna take a positive die for that, because I would like this to go well. so we can have some good footage for our TV show. So 3d6.
Ooh,
nice.
10. So I think the door sort of slams open and Kari just doesn't say cool as a cucumber, steps in. You hear sort of a quiet wow. And he steps back, holding the door open, and Doc, Davey, after you. And picks up the camera, takes the sound recording back.
And Davey jumps right in. Well, doesn't jump right in. He walks in very excitedly, but in a stately fashion.
Marius kind of cringes, and you can tell that it's not, they're not do I have to, but you can kind of tell that they're thinking it.
And I think that's scene.
Yeah, I think
I'll
so.
tell you what, no, the door swings closed behind them.
Oh no.
It doesn't lock, but there's no reason that it should have swung closed. It wasn't on a hinge like that. It just, we see the three of them sort of disappear into the room, and the door just kind of closes.
Hi, it's Dora, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on iTunes, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about our show using the FTLcast hashtag. No, seriously, we crave the validation and it helps us out. Your support really means a lot. Thanks again!